Hi, this is Kirk Weaver from Family Time Training. I want to show you how to use activities and object lessons to teach biblical principles and biblical values. If you're interested in more activities like this, just go to www.famtime.com and you can get more activities just like the ones you're seeing. I want to show you another activity that I used in teaching my kids about sharing. As parents, we want to raise children who are generous, who will share what they have with others. And as kids and as adults who believe in Jesus, sharing is very important to our walk with God. So in this activity, all I need are is scissors and a piece of paper. And in talking about sharing, there are two great stories that I like to talk about out of the Bible. One is from the Old Testament, and it's the prophet Elijah goes to this widow's house and he asks her for some food. And she says, I am broke. I'm out of money. I don't have anything to give you. All I have is this little bit of oil. He says, I tell you what, you go get all the pots and pans in your house. You go to your neighbor's house, you get all their pots and pans, and I'm going to take this oil and we're going to fill up these pots and pans. So he took this little bit of oil and he filled up all the pots and pans and still had the little bit of oil left. So she was able to fix him a meal. And she went from being perhaps the poorest person in that community to maybe being one of the more wealthier people in that community. Because in those days, oil wasn't just something you bought for $4 and got a big amount. Oil was a commodity. It was like money. She was able to pay her debts with that oil, and she had more left over. Well, there's another lesson from the New Testament, which is the boy with the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He's sitting in the front row of 5,000 people that have come to hear Jesus speak. And Jesus says, we got to feed these people. And this boy says, here, you can have my lunch. Now, I'm convinced that only a child of pure heart would even offer that. If I was sitting there in the front row and I heard Jesus saying he wants to feed 5,000 people, and I have 2 loaves and 5 fish, I probably wouldn't say anything because I don't think it's going to go far enough. But this boy gave what he had. Jesus took it, blessed it, fed 5,000, and had 12 baskets left over. So those are great stories on sharing and how when you share, you actually can end up with more. Well, I'm going to do an activity, and the value of this piece of paper is how many corners it has. So how many corners does this piece of paper have? It has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? So this paper has the value of 4. It has 4 corners. Well, I love my son, Mac, so I'm going to give him one of my corners. So I give my son Mac a corner. How many corners does he have? 3. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Wait, I only had 4 to start with. I gave one away. He ends up with 3. I end up with 5. Well, I love my daughter too. I'm going to give my daughter one of my corners. So how many does she have? She has 3. My son has 3. And now I have 6 corners. Well, you can see where this is going. Try this at home and take this piece of paper and start cutting corners off. And in 1 minute, 60 seconds, see how many corners you can get. I bet you get over 100. So here we took something with a value of 4, and by giving corners away, we actually end up with more, and our friends and our family end up with more. That's one of the principles of when we give in obedience to God, like the boy with the 5 loaves, 2 fish, like the widow who had the oil. When we give, we sometimes end up with more blessings than what we started with.